This is a demonstration and training video on the RouteXL tool. RouteXL is an add-in to Spatial Excel. So once you've shown your spatial pane, if you've purchased RouteXL, you install it and then there will be a RouteXL tab over here. When you click on Open RouteXL, you will see that it loads my predefined routing network. I will show you where to find the network and how to load it. So in this case, I've already had a pre-set up routing network, which is loaded, which is about 2 million nodes. This is the South African routing network. And if I didn't have this already set up, I would simply go into this open and I would go and find my ZAF new.routingdb and double click it and load it, and then it will load this network. To license RouteXL, you click on the information button over here, and this is where you can update the license. Very similar to Spatial Excel. Alright, now I'm going to show you some features of RouteXL. So the first very simple feature is the point-to-point routing, and in this case I'm just going to route between 2 points. So I'm going to turn on draw on click, select a point, then select another point, and then it draws a route for me over here. The actual route is inside this dialog, and it shows me that this is 132 kilometers and it'll take about 164 minutes to drive. There's also turn-by-turn instructions, which you can click on directions and get, and you can email that to somebody as well. You can also clear that by just clicking on the clear button. The routes that it created, or the route that it created, is in this route layer that it creates, and if you view data on that, you'll see some information, and there's a geometry in this as well. And that'll have your kilometers and your time. Alright, so you can also, of course, copy out the directions by selecting them and right-clicking copy to clipboard with headers or without headers, or saving this to a CSV as well. To remove that, I just remove the route layer here, and I can simply clear my results over here. So you can also copy and paste coordinates if you have specific coordinates to route to, and that will also work out very well. Okay, the second tool that I'm going to show you is the Drivetime Polygons or drive distance polygons. So basically, let's say that we want to make a particular drive time or drive distance around these depots. Then I can basically say, let's say analyze on map click, we'll choose time, and let's say we want to see what's within a 20 minutes drive distance from these different depots. So we just go, the range is 20, and we do it in intervals of 10. And then if we click on this particular depot here, and this particular depot here, and this particular depot here, we can see that it has created 3 drive time polygons, and with intervals of 10, so 2 minutes on each layer here, or each level. And just to show you what that looks like, I'm just going to turn off my Analyze on Map click, because I don't want it to keep on drawing every time I click. You can open this and even zoom into these layers, and then you can see exactly where your data falls. So if I pull my outlets to the top, you can even now do a classify of these points to see in which particular polygon at which distance they fall away from the depot. So again, what you can do here is to remove this layer. By the way, if you wanted to save this to a polygon or a SVU file, you can just go to Save and save this as a spatial view file or a shape file. But for now, I'm just going to remove it. Alright, the next tool that I'm going to show is the round robin routing or the traveling salesman routing. And this is a very simple routing algorithm which basically allows you to route and get the best sequence of points to visit if you choose multiple points. So our drive weight should be time, it's usually time. And I'll just do selected only for quick illustration. And it's alright, so we can select some points over here. And then say calculate weights. And it then calculates all my different weights. And then we can say optimize route. And rather quickly it will work out the optimized sequence to visit those points and return to the first point. So if you, again, it created a layer over here, and if you zoom fit to that, you will see there is the route and the way around that it goes from point to point. I can turn off my selection here to see my points better because they're yellow. And it'll also give me the exact sequence of which outlets to visit in which order. And these results can be copied out into Excel. It also gives the distance and the time to each point. And what you can also do is to right-click on one of the rows, and you can choose to start at that particular point, and it'll move that one to the top. And you can even reverse the direction by right-clicking and saying reverse direction, reverse. The next tool that I'm going to show is the matrix calculation. So what this tool does, let me just remove my previous layer. So what the matrix calculation does is to bring in a particular set of points. So let's choose all the data in here, which is about 823 points. And if we paste this, it then pastes the data into the grid over here. We can then calculate the node IDs, which is basically to allocate what node of the road network each point belongs to. And then if we click on calculate matrix, it'll then start calculating a lookup table which has the time and distance between every single point of that matrix and every single other point of that matrix. My machine is not very high in memory, and it's already suffering a little bit with doing the recording as well. So this is going to take some time. If you have a more powerful machine with more memory and more capacity, you won't have much of a problem. but I'm going to just let it run anyway and see how long it takes to calculate the matrix of this full set. Okay, there you go. I just went and had a cup of coffee quickly, and my matrix came back in the meantime. And as you can see here, it calculated 580,000 pairs. And here's the time. And there you go. The matrix is done. So I can now save this, and I can use it to look up my values, because I've got the start and end node from the input here, and I can look up my actual outlets in a database. The next feature I want to show you is a tool called set-to-set routing, which is basically an allocation. It says, in fact, here what it does: calculate drive times and distances between all points in one set and all in another. Optionally gets shortest distances or shortest drive time from each point in one set of points to the other set. So in this case, I'd like to allocate all the points. Let me just zoom out to see them. I'd like to allocate all the points of my outlets to which depot needs to service them, from depot 1, 2, or 3. So what I do here is I'm going to copy my data, which is in the background here, and I'm going from and then to, and as you can see over here, we've got the depots. And it already knows longitude and latitude. And what we'd like to do is choose outlet. To name. And we'd like, in this case, to have the minimum time for travel. Cool, so this did like about a minute or so for all of the points. And if we pull out our results, I'm just going to copy them with headers and just paste them in a new sheet. All right, so what I can do is we've already got outlets, which is from column A to column E. So I'm just going to click on Update Layer Extents, which then will update that layer. If you look at the properties, you'll see that it's updated. Data to F, to include F. Just remember when you do that update layer extents that you must be in the area where the range originally was. So if you're on column F, it won't update because that wasn't part of your original range, and it won't know that it was there. So you just must make sure that you are within columns A to E if you add an extra column when you update. All right, so what we can do then is we can actually set the thematics now to be the color of the closest depot. And we just choose unique colors. Let's just use this one. Okay. And when we say okay, you can see that per the time and distance, it's now done allocations of what is closer to particular depots.